Disclaimer. We are two regular guys who love to talk Bone Thugs and Harmony. We do not represent Bone Thugs or any Bone affiliate. We are also not Bone Thugs experts. The views and information you hear in this podcast may be based on personal opinion. Please feel free to leave corrections and clarifying information in the comments. And enjoy.
Straight off the motherfucking internet. Two true hosts talking about the double Glock. Cecil, Johnny. Kick that shit, Feenics.
Beyond the harmony for the fans, we celebrate. Uploading new videos every Thursday, so join us. Beyond the harmony for the fans, we celebrate. Uploading new videos every Thursday, so join us. Beyond the harmony for the fans, we celebrate. Uploading new videos every Thursday, so join us. Beyond the harmony for the fans, we celebrate. Uploading new videos every Thursday, so join us.
Now let's welcome the doors back, folks, and get to the podcast.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? Once again, Beyond the Harmony, and I am your host, Cecil West, with the one and only And it is Thug Thursday. You know the rules, kids. We're here once a week to do what we all love to do, and that's talk about that bone. Usually we got a guest, but this week we're riding just me and Johnny. Just how you always tell me, John, when it's just me and you? What do you call that?
I call it the two dope boys in the Cadillac.
Yeah. All right. So tonight it's two dope boys in the Cadillac. I always love it though. It gives me a chance to let everybody know what we kind of think as fans. We hear what the fans think a lot. We hear what a lot of guests think a lot. But these are the only episodes that we get a chance to do what you and I think. Although I do love the question of the day. We've been doing that a lot with the question of the day.
Yeah, bro, those are awesome. I'm loving those questions of the day.
We got a lot more of those set up to come. We pre-record big chunks of them, and Johnny just edited a bunch of them. So we got a ton of questions of the day coming, and this next bunch, they're good. They're good. I'm not giving any of them away, but these are fucking. Those first bunch were to get you warmed up. This is the main course.
Yeah, we did a little bit of 101, but now some of these questions are going to start to delve into some Bone Thugs and Harmony 201, a little bit deeper, getting into your master's degree of bonedom.
Yeah. So Bone Thugs, what's up, Johnny? Tell me what's up in the week of Bone. What are we talking?
Well, we got so many things. You know, this is like a housekeeping episode. As you said, we don't have a guest this week. It's not like we don't have guests, but we got to do some housekeeping. So the first thing is we got a May giveaway coming up because we're a little bit late on that May giveaway, 15 days into May. And actually, by the time you hear this, it'll be 16 days into May. But we do have a May giveaway, and we also had an April winner. So if you want to take it away, Cecil, let them know about this May giveaway.
Yeah, so I will be putting up a video. I didn't do a video last month for last month's the actual prize. We did a giveaway for the winner, and I haven't announced this month's giveaway. But this month's giveaway, I am going to be giving away a copy of Mo Thugs All Lifelong, and it's a sealed copy, brand new. So very cool. Somebody's going to win that. I'll be putting up a video with more details about that as well. One thing that I will point out is last month's winner, our April winner, 1985 Gemini, taking home her second win, her second victory. And guys, we've only had 2 giveaways. So, I mean, she's knocking them out the fucking park right now.
She's like the Green Bay Packers of Bone fans. You know, the Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls. 1985 Gemini winning the first 2 Bone giveaways, Beyond the Harmony giveaways.
Hey, and I love it. I'm really glad that it happened. I like, it shows that, you can win more than once. I want people to win more than once. I will say based on it though that we have to level the playing field just a little bit. So John and I decided to come up with what we're calling the Gemini rule. And this is where only one comment per video will count. Now, you can comment as much as you want. I love how much you guys comment. Keep commenting. You can do 100 fucking comments if you want. I love them all. I try to read every single one of them. I try to reply to as many as I can. It's like a full-time job, me and John just trying to reply to comments between all the social media. So comment as much as you want. But only one comment per video is going to count. And that'll just help level the playing ground. Make sure everybody has a chance to win. And hey, I'm all about people with back-to-back wins. I just want to make sure that it's fair. So, you know, a small change. Everything else is going to be done the same way that we always do it. And we're going to be starting that actually with this month, with this month's giveaway. And you'll get to see the first taste of it when we do our 500 subscriber giveaway, because by the time this, okay, we're recording this on Tuesday, you're going to hear this on Thursday, the next day. So tomorrow for you guys, we're going to be giving away our 500 subscriber giveaway. You'll get to see the first example of this in action.
Yeah, man, I saw the video today. I can't believe how big that collection is of those Faces of Death, man. That is something else, dude. And I love that.
I believe it's the biggest. I may be wrong. I may be wrong, John. But I believe it is the biggest independent collection of Faces of Death CDs that anybody has. You know, I think somebody like Kermit Henderson or somebody like that, maybe even K-Chill, these guys may have more copies, but they had something to do with it. As an independent collector, I think I have the largest collection, sitting at 40 copies, mostly CDs, some tapes, a copy of the record. I heard you saying you love something before I cut you off like a dick.
No, I just love that bone. I guess the bandana you got. The set just looks so cool with all those discs and the multitude of variety of all the different versions you had, including the record, the cassettes, the CDs, the yellow version, the newer version, the seals, the non-sealed. It's, you know, you told me about it on the phone. You sent me pictures, but when I saw the video today, I was just like, oh my goodness, look at all that yellow. It just looked really cool.
And I got another video that I'm going to drop on you guys too, where I actually show the different, like this video today, I was just showing you what we're going to give away, but I have another video where I show you all the different versions, and I even show you different things about them. I show you how some of the tapes are different from each other. So I got a Faces of Death 40 video I'm going to drop on you guys soon. But tomorrow, we're going to pick somebody to get a brand new sealed copy 1995 edition of Faces of Death Yellow. And it's just the same way. The way that your comments count for the month, every comment for any video is eligible to win in this one, because every video is up for the 500. That's how we're going to do it. So the monthly ones, we only pick from the videos from that month, but when I do the big ones, 500, 1,000, 1,500, every video is in the running. Somebody tomorrow, brand new copy of Faces of Death. I'm pumped to give it away. Yeah,
and not only that, it has a price sticker on it too. That was so cool. Just to think how long that must have been sealed. You know, we're in 2018 now, and that album came out in like 93, you know, so yeah. It's wild. Or actually, I guess 95 probably for that edition. And speaking of that too, which versions are you still hunting for to complete your every version of Faces of Death? Because you even have the Lazy Bone edition. So which versions are you still looking for?
So right now I'm on the hunt, and I talk about this a little bit in the video as well. I'm on the hunt for the 1993 edition. And I don't want to take out too much of the gas from that video, but basically, you know, for a long time, people thought that Faces of Death there were two editions, the yellow one and then the remaster. But, you know, we found out as time went on that the yellow one with the white bubble that says the original Thugs, that is a reprint from 1995. The original version does not have that white bubble that says original Thugs. And the Bone Enterprise logo is outlined in red instead of black. And those are from 1993. Those are the original pressings. That's before Bone became Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's literally when they were Bone Enterprise. The ones that say the original Thugs, Bone had already got signed to Ruthless and become Bone Thugs and Harmony when those came out. So I have a bunch of those. I have the red remaster. I have multiple versions of the tape. And of course I have the record, and that is from 93. But I'm on the hunt for the CD and tape from 93. So we'll see. I wanna have them all. And this big surplus I have, I'm going to get rid of a lot of that. I'm going to sell some of them. I'm going to give a bunch away. Johnny, I really picked that surplus up because I don't want to talk numbers. You and I have talked them. At the price I was able to pick up all those Faces of Death CDs, it was crazy not to.
Yeah, and not only that, for some of these things we have planned possibly to do with those in the midterm future to the long-term future, if those ever get off the ground, it's going to be something really cool, a new project for Beyond the Harmony for the fans. So we'll see if that one ever comes out. If it does, that's going to be a pretty cool experience for everybody.
Yeah. So giveaways, I love the giveaways. So we got a giveaway we're going to do this month. We got a 500 subscriber giveaway, and we're just getting started. I can't wait to give away at 1,000, and the sky's the limit. When we get to 1,000, the game changes for John and I, because we can then monetize the channel, and me and John are gonna take every penny and put it back into the channel, and that'll really change the game. Right now, John and I do this all for free. We do not even earn any monetization from any of the plays. So these are all free plays. This is all for the love of the game. And once we hit 1,000, so 500 more subscribers, we'll be getting paid by YouTube, and we'll really be able to step the game up for you guys then. I'm excited for then, but fuck, I'm excited for now. I love what we're doing. John and I built this, what is it, 4 months now?
Yeah, it started around February. And also, let's make sure to note that if 1985 Gemini is listening, and we know she is because she's always dedicated and listening, that we do have your giveaway to be shipped. Both of us have been working on multiple projects. Cecil is doing his 656 Fest. It's a big event in Maine, and I've been doing tons of stuff for work, so we didn't get a chance to ship it out yet. But that is on the way, if not already on the way by the time you hear this. So we always just want to make sure you know it's coming.
By the time you hear this, it should already be inbound to you. So yeah, we'll get that. We get them all out, and luckily she knows we're good for it because she's got that copy of Ghetto Cowboy. So we got you, 1985 Gemini. I love to see. She's one of our regulars. I love to see the regulars. I love to see everybody, but I really notice, obviously, the people that are in there commenting a lot. They're on every, episode, every video. And, man, I appreciate the love. The love is real. Going into the 500 subscribers, the love is real. And the love has been huge coming out of the Soldier Boy interview.
Oh, yeah, that was a huge, that was the long time coming one. That was the one we wanted. We got it. It was an excellent interview, and the response has been fantastic. And you know what the greatest thing I've seen this week it's been like Shower Soldier Boy with Love Week, all on the BTNH board, and there's a couple of threads that it's just people just showing Soldier Boy how much we appreciate all the efforts that he's done and all the songs he's made and just who he is. So I'm glad he's gotten all the just due, because I was concerned that he might have been forgotten by history, and he's such a great talent, and it's great that everybody still remembers Soldier Boy and showed him the love he deserves.
Yeah. Yep. Soldier Boy, I was really happy to work with him. People are excited about part 2. That guy's putting in work. He's really excited about his new project. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see how Beyond the Harmony is going to be able to help him when he drops that project. When he does drop it, you definitely know that we'll be part of his promotional run. We'll have him on here to talk about it. And yeah, it's been good to see. I mean, the guy deserves it. He works hard on social media. He's very active on Instagram and like Facebook and I think Twitter. I don't use Twitter. If any of you guys follow us on Twitter, you see how bad I fucking suck at Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not too good with Twitter either.
Twitter's
it
really
becomes
simple.
important.
Like I really understand how Twitter works. I just fucking I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like how the threads just they're not easily navigatable, you know, so it's confusing for me sometimes because I never get to see the full thread in order. But hey, if Bone fans, if you guys are using Twitter, though, let us know in the comments because, you know, we'll get a Twitter presence if that's important, if that's where the game's going. But it seems like the game's on Facebook and Instagram for the most part.
I will say, if you're looking for us on Twitter and you can't find us, Twitter makes us use a really weird fucking name, and I hate it. We are Beyond the Harmony on everything except for Twitter. Twitter doesn't let us use that many characters. On Twitter, we are Beyond the Harmony, Beyond DA Harmony, the introduction, the Harmony, Beyond the Harmony on Twitter. So if you've been looking for us, you can't find us. That's why. Tell Twitter we need more characters, motherfucker.
Yeah, and we have it linked on beyondtheharmony.com, and it's also, I think, in our info box at the bottom of this video and all of our videos. And speaking of the videos, like YouTube is my favorite platform. I mean, well, really, I guess Facebook, I use that a lot, but I like YouTube the most. But as far as the comments, we were talking about the comments earlier. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I go on our YouTube studio and I check the comments from this channel just to see what kind of things are getting commented on. And I always like when I see an older video that we made a couple months ago get comments, because I get to relive what I guess a new viewer is experiencing, getting to relive some of the past episodes we did. And if you are a newer viewer, because we did pick up a lot of people from Soldier Boy, you want to make sure you go back and check our history, because we did other great interviews and other great episodes and other great shows. And there's lots to see on the Beyond the Harmony YouTube channel.
You probably also want to make sure that you set YouTube to alert you when we drop videos.
Yeah, look, as a member of Beyond the Harmony, there's nothing I love more to see on my iPhone to get a push notification that let me know Beyond the Harmony dropped the video, because I'm at work, and Cecil, like today, I'm at work, I'm having a work kind of day. I see my phone light up and it says the 500 subscriber giveaway, and on my break I got to sneak a peek and I saw all those faces of death. So it brightens my day to see a push notification come. And I'm just saying, if you are subscribed and you don't have that bell ticked, make sure you click that bell. It's right next to the subscribe button. And then if you have the YouTube app on your phone, it'll light up every time we drop a video.
Yeah, definitely subscribe. You don't want to miss anything. We're turning out a lot of content. We got a lot of content that's all queued up to come out to you guys as well. So there's a lot going on. I'm really happy, man. It's been organically. We've built this channel organically. We're sitting at 500 subs on YouTube, completely built off the back of what we wanted to do here. We have 500 Instagram follows, actually over 500 now. Now that's my favorite platform. Okay, that's the one that if you're on Facebook, you're dealing 50-50 with John and I. Same thing on YouTube. If you're on Instagram, you're probably dealing exclusively with me. And then Twitter, you're dealing with a fucking robot over there. That's not me or John. That's like the auto post.
I occasionally may go on Twitter, but I'm not really monitoring the Beyond the Harmony account. If somebody mentions me on Twitter, that's pretty much the only time I go to Twitter, is when I see a mention, somebody trying to get my attention, and I'll go check it out. I might participate for an hour, and then that'll be that. But yeah. Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for Cecil. And
I will say we're killing the numbers. If you guys don't know, John, when we first started this, we had to make the decision if we were going to make a brand new channel or if we were going to jump on John's channel. Now, John, a lot of you know John. In fact, a lot of you were watching John's videos on his channel before you were even over here. And some of you don't even realize that it's the same guy, but John's got the Jonathan Lippy channel. He has 20,000 subscribers. And we were going to put the channel on there. And that, you know, that automatically gave us a 20,000 subscriber fan base, which is fucking enormous. But we had to know if people loved this for this. And so we built it filthy from the fucking ground on up. And I'm pumped. And you guys should still go subscribe to John's channel if you haven't. You've definitely watched John's videos. And John's got a lot of other videos too. The White Book, Machiavelli, if any of you do Tupac, the White Book, Machiavelli, the whole series is on John's. Would you say that's the biggest? Is that what made the audience? What brought the 20 grand home?
Well, the White Book, in conjunction with Machiavelli the Don, who I think just goes by Machiavelli on Twitter, he sent a lot of traffic my way. Kind of blessed. He blessed the show. You know, it's important to get someone to, and again, we don't know if this is the real Tupac or if it's Machiavelli, but if you guys have never read the White Book and you're into, like, if you were an East 1999 fan and you enjoyed decoding the map, and if you're a Tupac fan and you enjoy the 7-day theory and all the folklore behind the supposed possibility that Tupac may or may not have faked his death, the White Book is the ultimate decoding experience you could ever have in hip hop. It is the absolute most thing that you have to decode, and I took it upon myself, and with the help of a lot of friends, to decode the book, and it caught the attention of Machiavelli, and he then would retweet to his whole fan base. That drove a lot of traffic my way. But there's tons of other stuff on my channel. A lot of the Bone Thugs and Harmony videos I made over the years, that also drove a lot of traffic. Celestine Prophecy, and then I have a bunch of philosophy things on my channel. And also, as we were talking about not knowing, realizing that who I am, if you were on the Bone Thugs and Harmony message boards back in the day, and we're talking like late 90s, early 2000s, my handle was Lyrical Fusion. I was of the group Lyrical Fusion, The Final Toast. We made the song Getting High on the South Side. Sometimes later on, Cecil used to use my account to go on the board. So
I didn't want to make my own account, so I really just wanted the fucking downloads, and I wasn't willing to make my own account and wait the time, and I didn't want to do all the commenting. I used to have an account, but it changed so much that I lost it somewhere over time. Back in the day, I was LAYZ 1999 Thug, and I ran hellsent.com. So, John Lyrical Fusion, I was Lazy 1999 Thug. We go way back like the trunk on a Cadillac in this bone world.
And from that history is the foundation of Beyond the Harmony, why we wanted to get it started. We wanted to rekindle that whole vibe that was going on and get the bone community revitalized. And it seems like it's been working so far. And it's the same thing that happened with the White Book, was once that series came out, all the Tupac fans, they got excited again, and everybody was decoding it together, and it just took on a life of its own. So we're trying to do the same thing for Bone.
We're making an impact. I see fans making Facebook groups, and we do an interview, and then I see those groups contact the person we interviewed and get real involved with them. Beyond the Harmony is changing the Bone world right now. I love the impact I see us making on you guys as fans. It's putting you guys as fans in the driver's seat, and it's almost like we're breaking the wall down. Okay, we're breaking the wall down. These guys are untouchable. Beyond the Harmony, we reach out, we do the interview, we break the wall down. It's super accessible, and I love that because you guys should be able to talk to these guys and ask them what you want to know, and we're bridging that gap, Johnny. We're bridging that gap, and I'm proud of the impact we are having on Bone Thug culture.
Absolutely. And you know, going back to what you were saying with deciding to do a brand new channel, you know, I remember knowing you for 20 years, knowing your work ethic is actually greater than mine, and I got a really good work ethic. But when I said to you, I was like, you could get a built-in fan base, or we could build it from scratch and just grind it out and build it from the bottom, and you wanted to do that. I was like, oh, yes, bro. Warriors, man. Warriors. So that's what we're doing, man. We're warrioring it. We could have gone the easy way. We try to take all the hard roads, and the harder the road you take, somehow the more magic flows your way. So we're swimming upstream and loving it, every minute of it, with no apologies or no regrets, no excuses.
We're killing it. We get lots of confirmation too. This channel is being heard and seen by everybody. And I'll just say that our channel is being heard and seen by everybody. We're really making an impact here in the bone world. So I'm proud of it. I'm really pumped about the interviews that we've done. Still got interviews to come out. I'm still working on that Romeo interview. I know some of you guys are like, why the fuck are we just getting these little snippets, bro? There's so much. It's overwhelming how much Romeo material that I have that it's like hard to even put it together to put out any of it. But I'm hoping to have an hour out to you guys, in the next 2 episodes. Hopefully we'll see that first Romeo hour. But we're gonna keep hitting you with those Mo Mondays, those little snippets. Romeo has been an amazing guy to have in the Beyond the Harmony corner. Since having our interview with him, I really reach out to Romeo, and he advises and helps kind of guide me, to just make sure that my show is top tier and that my presentation is good. And it's been really cool to know this guy, because Romeo is a smart motherfucker, man. That guy he's next level.
Yeah. And I became after the interview with him, he's like musician royalty, and so we want to make sure that we've been releasing it right. We didn't want to just dump 9 hours into the market. We want to make sure that Romeo is honored and your appetite is whet, so that when you receive a full hour of Romeo, it's like, hey, this is worth listening to. This guy has met everybody in the music industry, done everything, toured the world. So,
it's coming.
It's coming. Romeo's on his way, and I think we're going to see Romeo more now that Sons of St. Clair is getting bigger as well.
There's so much Romeo. There's so much Romeo that I'm scared you'll get sick of hearing all the Romeo that I have for you guys. So there's so much, and Romeo's ready to come back on. That's you gotta love that guy, man. He's such a down motherfucker, and he's got a lot of great things coming. A lot of great things coming for himself. A lot of great things coming for Bone. I can't wait till he has the opportunity to announce those things to you guys. He let us in on a lot of it, and it's really exciting. We're going to see great things from Bone Thugs and Harmony coming up in the coming years. Like, this many years, and you want to think that it's winding down, but it's like, every time I hear something, I'm like, they're just getting started, bro.
It's like they're working every day, and there's 5 of them always going, doing something. Nobody can keep track of all this. They just do so much. It's amazing. It's amazing.
You think of, I think of the fact that there's 5 of them, okay? Now, there's 5 of them. Now, here's what we know. Crazy has a amazing work ethic. We know Flesh and Bone has a great work ethic. Flesh and Bone solos, Flesh and Bone has a fucking work ethic. Busy Bone has a great work ethic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Lazy Bone has a fucking work ethic. I mean, these are guys that kill it. And, well, Wish doesn't have his own brands or anything like that. I don't think Wish is any kind of slouch. I think that guy, look at, has Wishbone ever missed a Bone Thug show? Like, out of everybody, I don't know if he ever has. Except for that, like, once. That time when him and Crazy were, like, out of the group. But besides that, like, So, I said that to say this. You look at how much just one guy like just one Puff Daddy can get done. And it's amazing. And then you think of 5 members of Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's the work times 5. Plus they got motherfuckers like Romeo and Steve LaBelle, dudes like that behind them. This is a fucking freight train. Documentaries, music. I mean, music is like, these guys make fucking music in their sleep, bro. They can release, these guys could stop recording music today and release probably music for the next fucking decade. So that's...
And what's crazy is, and this was one of the show topics I wanted to talk about tonight, is when will it be enough? And what I mean by that is, as much as all the stuff you just said, these guys are workaholics of the first order. I haven't seen a rapper or even a rocker or any musician do the level, the quantities, the sheer quantity of what they do. And it's never enough to the fans. It's like they've released hundreds of albums, literally hundreds, thousands of songs, and it's never enough. The fans are never fully satisfied. And it's like, what do they have to do to fulfill your desires? They work every day, it seems. And it's just never, and even for myself, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what does Bone got to do that they haven't already done to satisfy me? And you always see, like, when's your next project coming out, guys? And they're like, in their mind, they must be thinking, we put out like 100 albums, if you count all the affiliates. Like, what do we got to do? We put out like 10 DVDs or however. I don't even know how many music videos. Dude, if you try to just catalog, which I tried doing, just Lazy Bones music videos, you will end up quitting, because you'll be able to establish the official Lazy Bone solo projects, but then when you go to look at all the all the special guest appearances he's done, and then every video you click on the right side on YouTube has all those suggested products, suggested videos, and then it's like you click and you end up losing 3 hours. And you're like, I'm never gonna get to the bottom of this. I can't. Yeah. And by the time you do that, 3 more projects came out.
I can only think, the only people that rival Bone have the same type of fans that have that, appetite that you just cannot take care of for them. Kiss fans, Rolling Stone fans, ICP fans, the motherfuckers that have the Legion, the Nation, the fucking, just the gang of fans. It's never enough. You know what I mean? Like the people that love the Rolling Stones have loved the Rolling fucking Stones for, I mean, they've been around. Think about it. Bone's got 20 plus years, okay? And they're little motherfuckers in terms of being on the road. The Rolling Stones have toured. They still tour, okay? And I think that they've toured pretty much every year since fucking forever. So, but their fans are the same way. And you're in a upper, you're on the top tier when you're that type of group. And for rap, man, there's not many. Bone Thugs and Harmony are a fucking rare breed. The question of when will it be enough, I don't think, it's weird, because as a fan, I don't think the fans have ever thought of it being over. Like, is there a moment where it's the last album? Like, Bone says it, but bro, Bone's been fucking, come on. Right. Even if they advertised it as, this is the last album ever, E1999 Legends. By the way, somebody said, who the fuck was it? Somebody on one of the boards, maybe, man, I don't remember who said it, but somebody was like, their last album should be called Crept and We Came. And I was like, yo, that's fucking dope. Yeah.
Wow.
Yo, I was like, that would be the best final title ever.
That is Crept and We Came, bro. They predicted it. They called the show. Yeah, man. Well, hopefully they never have a final album, Hopefully they keep going forever.
Here's what I think, right? You got a long time before there's a final album, because, and this comparison's hard because a lot of these guys died, but you look at the Outlaws, they got 2 members and they're still the Outlaws and they're still doing it. And
With
we
Bone.
know that you can be Bone Thugs and just be two motherfuckers. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be a long time before, Crazy Bone. I don't know physically how long Crazy Bone has to just be running because we hear that he's sick, things like that. But like Busy Bone and Lazy Bone, I never see those guys quitting. I think they're Lazy Bone and Busy Bone are fucking Mick Jagger of hip hop. These guys, not because they have to, okay, because they want to. I think these guys will rock stages until people just wouldn't go see them. And that'll never happen, because if I'm fucking 70 and you come to me and we're fucking old and you're like, bro, Lazy Bone and Busy Bone are gonna do a show, I'd be like, let's fucking go, bro.
Oh yeah, and Crazy's probably has albums to last until like our grandkids are dead.
Oh yeah,
he's got so much unreleased material, so it's never gonna end, which is great. And the weirdest thing is, I'm looking at my, as I brought this up, because they've released an album every year, not as Bone Thugs and Harmony always, but every single year dating back to '93, there's been at least one release. The smallest year, believe it or not, was 2014, where the Wonder Years came out, and then these like weird Mo Thug records, like the Gangsta Bangas 1 and Real West Coast OGs, like Big Cass type things. But outside of those, the only thing I see coming out in 2014 was the Wonder Years, and I'm not sure what year. I remember when I put that info out there, somebody said that Lazy came out with the Law of Attraction that year, so maybe it was just 2. But I thought that might have came out later on. But every single year there's a release, at least one. And I had counted it at one point. It seems like they release something every quarter of a year. Some kind of release comes out every quarter, it seems. If you do like on average, which is really amazing.
Oh yeah, bro.
Think of it like this, real quick, to give an idea on this impact and this fan base. I think at this point, I think probably one of the most famous rappers was Eminem, right? But I don't know if people are clamoring, like dying for the next Eminem album, or asking about where's that next Eminem album, the way Bone fans are like, where's that next Bone album? Whatever it is, whatever flavor, whatever variant, people even want a Mo Thug album. So it's wild to see that no one's asking for a Nas album. I mean, maybe people want a Nas album or a Rakim album, but not the same way. When they dropped 3 albums week after week last year, New Waves, well, actually first Thug Brothers 2 came out, Eternal Legend came out, and New Waves came out back to back to back 3 weeks in a row, and people still wanted more. It was crazy.
Well, it's never enough. I mean, that's some Eminem shit, but I mean, it isn't. I mean, even for me, I would, people always say quality over quantity, but it's like, hey, motherfucker, I'll take both. And I base that off, I know how much shit these guys have in the vault. I don't remember who. Do you remember, bro, at one point, maybe it was the UBB, somebody had a 24/7 streaming Bone radio station online for a little bit. Do you remember that? And they streamed everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a playlist, basically. But
it was so cool. It was like the first. Whoever did that saw the future, because now things like that exist on Pandora and Google Play and whatnot. But they had that foresight vision, similar to what you and I had back then, to put it all together. I mean, I think it was randomized, right? I don't think it was sequential. Yeah. Did you get the same mix every time?
No, they did different shit all the time.
And what's crazy about it is that was around 99, because I remember where I was when I first got that link. That was like, there was a shortcut on my desktop for that. And I remember thinking, wow, I can't believe Bone and Mo Thug and all the affiliates at the time, even in 99, had enough material back then to sustain a 24-hour music channel on the internet. And that experience just kind of warped my mind in a weird way, because I was in school for TV production and programming. Like, how do you fulfill 24 hours of programming consistently, day after day after day, kind of like what we're doing right now with Beyond the Harmony. And I was just so impressed that in such a short period of time, Bone had the material for a 24-hour streaming channel. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
For rap. It was a first for rap. You know, Bruce Springsteen and other people could do something like that on satellite radio, but for a rap group that wasn't even like an old rap group at the time, to be able to pull that off was, you know, I was in a rap group. I was like, man, you know, we have that kind of material as well, but nobody will want to hear that for 24 hours. But you could listen to Bone for 24 hours and not get tired of it.
I would listen. I would have got tired of it because I don't want to hear everything that fucking Bone does. And that's it's funny that you say that, because it swings me right into something I've definitely wanted to make sure that I address, which is, you guys don't have to like every single thing that Bone does. It doesn't make you a bad fan if you don't like it all. Sometimes I'll on one of these boards I'll see somebody say, "Hey, I didn't really like whatever," and some motherfuckers just like hyena jump on them, like fucking just lose their fucking minds. And I'm like, bro, that it's cool, man. Like, listen, Bone has home run after home run and grand slam after grand slam. All right. And to get grand slams and home runs, you got to have some bass, you know, some singles. So you got to have some baseline doubles. You got to strike out. All right. If you want grand slams and home runs,
sometimes you go into a double play too.
Yeah, but you got to call all that shit, okay? You have to say that was a strikeout, because if you don't, then we create the illusion that the material on something like, oh, I don't know, Bone Brothers 3 is as good as the material on E1999 Eternal. All right? You got to be willing to say, I didn't really fucking like that. And it doesn't make you a bad fan, and it doesn't make Bone a bad group. I think some fans feel like, oh, if I say that, it makes Bone a bad group. Bone is the greatest fucking rap group of all time. There's nothing that you as a fan can say to take away the level and the legacy that these guys have. But by calling it what it is, by saying, I really didn't like that, it does keep the bar high. If you call it like it is. And then if you really like it, that's cool if you really like it. But if you're bullshitting, don't bring that bullshit my way. I'm gonna tell you if I don't like something.
But you know something we didn't consider, because I do agree with you for the most part on that. But then again, you know, the heated debate that we had on New Waves, you know, some people don't like it, but I like it, and a whole lot of people do like it. So it's good to have the debate. I think what you're kind of referring to is when somebody says they don't like something and then they just get attacked just because it's like, you can't say anything bad about Bone.
Yeah.
Whereas if you attack somebody and with explanations why one of these particular songs or whatever it is has merit, you know, it should be followed by merit, not just attacking, right? You know, reason, like, why is this song, like if somebody says this song is no good and you say, yeah, it is, and here's why, then it's like, okay, good. Now we could have a healthy debate, and then it becomes just a matter of taste. And then also, and being an old school rap fan, going through all different eras, being from the 80s, you know, listening to rap in the 80s, and then the 90s, the early 90s versus the mid 90s is a way different rap. And so a lot of people that came into rap after like Snoop and Wu-Tang came out, and Nas and Biggie, they liked that mid-90s era rap, and they did not like the early 90s rap. They hated it. So Bone is kind of at that point that became that new era. They came around 93, 94. But rap then changed again at the turn of the century, like around 99, 2000, 2001. It kind of changed, and then it greatly changed in 2003 to 2004 to 2005. That became like the Scott Storch era. And people from each of these eras that came in at that era can't understand the previous eras. So like these Bone Brothers albums, maybe these are newer fans coming in at Strength and Loyalty, as we always point to that point. And they may not, it's hard to imagine, but there may be fans that don't like Eternal and don't like Art of War because it just, it doesn't, it's amazing. I mean, it sounds crazy to say that, but I imagine there may be some newer fans that don't appreciate the older stuff, and the older fans don't appreciate all the newer stuff. So it's generational, I think.
That's where I'd be a fucked up. See, that's where I'd be exactly who I'm talking about. Somebody was like, yeah, I don't really like Eternal, but that Unified. Oh, shit.
I bet you there are some. There are some because, you know, sometimes there's been a rare few times, not a rare few, where I had been listening to like all modern Bone stuff, and then I went back and listened to Eternal, and it like I could hear the oldness of it, and then because I listened to the new stuff first, and then I went back and I'm like, wow, I could actually see what the newer listeners may listen to, but then, you know, I'll snap out of it. It's just like a weird trance I might be in that day where I actually get a glimpse of what someone else might be experiencing. So it's these fans grow. And the other part too is the exact opposite. Instead of saying something sucks, sometimes I see somebody post like a newer song that I was like, ugh, and they like it. And I'm thinking, wow, see, their beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It might be something I didn't like, something I wouldn't even dare listen to sometimes. And somebody listens to it and they like it. And it's like way back in the day, you liked a song that we had made from Lyrical Fusion that I thought when we made it, it was like one of the only songs I didn't really like. And then when I found out that you liked it, then I was able to see what you saw in it. And then in turn, I began to like it. So it's all in the ear of the beholder. Music is a taste, and not everybody likes the same food.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes the same bone.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I just want it to be, you know, look, you can have an opinion without being an asshole. That's what that boils down to. I posted up, John. I posted up that we were doing this, that we didn't have a guest. And I said, if there's anything y'all want to hear us talk about, let me know. So a couple people have left a couple comments. Do you want to hear what some people on Facebook want to hear us talk about tonight?
Yeah. Oh, they did? Yeah. What kind of, I didn't even know you did that. What kind of questions we have?
So Don Garcia, who's a regular on all our social media, shout out to Don Garcia. He wants to know if we have heard any word on the Bone Thugs biopic, and if we have any predictions or biopic predictions on what songs by Bone may be on that. Is it biopic? Biopic.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I've heard what you guys have heard, right? I mean, Busy Bone mentioned it in the car. That might be in the video, the interview that they were working on that. And then Crazy, you know, they said it's a long process, but as far as the music goes, nobody's made any mention to me.
I can tell you that I do know that they are definitely working on that. And I can't give a lot of details, but I do know that it's being worked on. The thing is that Sons of St. Clair is a big project, and they cannot do that one without, they want the documentary done first. Okay? So, and again, I can't give a lot of information out, but I can tell you that it's being worked on. I can tell you that Sons of St. Clair is much bigger than you guys know. So it's coming. As far as music, I don't have any guesses off the top, but you know, hey, I would do a video on that with John. Me and John making a prediction video on what songs we may hear on there. Because I like that. I like making those type of guesses.
Yeah, and while we don't really know about the biopic, I did see today somebody asked Romeo Antonio on the BT&H board, I think it was, about the Sons of St. Clair, and I didn't know this, that there's I guess there's going to be a soundtrack disc with it, or Romeo said that they were going to have some unreleased songs in the documentary, so that was really cool. And then people were talking about there might be a soundtrack. I don't know if that's true or not because it wasn't really confirmed, but they were floating that idea around, and Romeo just kind of said both. So that was a cool answer.
Dope.
Leaving us guessing, but it kind of like a non-denial, a non-confirmation that something new is coming. It's not just a movie. New music's coming out of this as well.
Johnny Kenny Mahoney wants to know what other artists we think pulled off the Bone Thugs style and sound the best.
Wow, that's a good one.
It's a good one. It's like a question of the day. So I can't give you just like straight up I can't give you just straight up like groups because I think that it varies, but like a great example of like a song that I love to hear because it's close to bone shit is like I love "Smoking on Hay" by Crucial Conflict. That's got like a bone style going on.
I'll tell you who did it the best. I mean, this is easy to say. Tech 9 is the absolute best bone clone, if he's even a bone clone, because he kind of took it and did his own thing. Tekanina, all day Tekanina. But others, the recent stuff that Busta Rhymes Twister, obviously Twister was doing it before Bone even as Tongue Twister.
But it's bigger than that, though, right? I mean, we're just talking about people rapping fast. I mean, to me, the Bone, you gotta have the fast with the harmony, and no, I'm not even talking like the R&B just singing part. You know, Bone's rapping fast and still harmonizing. Even on the aggressive tracks, they got that harmony, and the combination of the two. This is why when people are like 3-6 and Bone, I was like, what the fuck is anybody even talking about? 3-6 Mafia is so far off from Bone that it's crazy.
Yeah, to me, it's Nelly. Nobody wants to admit Nelly, but Nelly is a real good performer, a real good recording artist. But he doesn't have that quantity that Bone has. But Nelly kind of took it and made it super big, right? Nelly had a good decade of hits.
He's got more of the, so it's like if 3-6 Mafia has like 80% of the fast and like none of the harmony, he's like 80% of the harmony and like none of the fast. So I think that's why people never associate the two. But every time you say it, I see what you're going for, because he made a career just off the harmony piece. He was like, oh, okay. He's like, if I do the Bone Thugs thing but slow, so I rap slower, but I still sing it. And hey, he was right. I mean, I can see that.
Tech had the balance. Tech could do the harmony, and he does it often. And then he also has the chopper fast rapping. He doesn't do quite as much gangster rapping, but
Tech just sounds like a machine gun all the time. Strange, like just fucking. And just so you guys know, I'm a big Tech 9 fan. I've done shows with Tech 9. I've met this man personally more than once. I've worked with artists off his label. I'm a massive, huge Tech 9 fan. I just want to make that very clear so nobody rips me apart. I am a huge Tech 9 fan.
When I guess also, is the question meaning over the span of a career or like a single song, right? Because then we could even throw Biggie in the mix.
Yeah, but nah, like I think my favorite, like I said, my favorite Bone Clone song is Crucial Conflict, "Smoking on Hay."
That's not even my favorite Crucial Conflict song. I think my two favorite, well, Scummy, although it doesn't really stand the test of time, I really liked Scummy at the time, and I felt like if Soulja Boy was on that song, that could have been a super duper hit. But also, I don't know if you ever heard the one that Crucial Conflict did with Warren G. Now, Warren G's verse is kind of, whatever. It's kind of, I mean, I like Warren G, but he's not the greatest rapper in the world. But when Crucial Conflict comes in on that track, man, and I think Corrupt is on it too. Crucial Conflict just kills that Warren G track. But I think Do or Die, Do or Die also was a lot Bone, but, they had their own lane. And then, the other thing, you got something?
I was just going to say, I mean, I I didn't listen to Do or Die much because I was such a Bone fan that it was. See, I was one of those fans I was talking about. They were like, "Fuck Do or Die," and I was like, "Yeah, fuck Do or Die." I think the only reason I know "Smoking on Hay" is because there were some people around me that listened to that a lot, and eventually I was like, "Okay, this is okay." Because if Bone was like, "Fuck these guys," I wasn't listening.
I told you why it happened to me was that I had worn out all my Bone albums and I needed more and more. And all they had with Days of Our Lives came out. And then the same day Days of Our Lives came out, Hey came out along with Do or Die's Pope Pimp. And I was like, well, I kind of like it. And I knew I wasn't supposed to. And I was like, but these songs are good. I'm like, I'm not gonna miss out on this because I had missed out on the East-West War, and I'm like, I'm not gonna miss out on these clones. I didn't like when 3 6 Mafia took out that ad against Bone, so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll not like 3 6. But then eventually, by the time their Tear the Club Up came out and Late Night Tip, I was like, well, I gotta get it. The Bone style, I needed more. See, this is what we were saying. This is why Bone's got to release so many albums. It's never enough. And that it creates this market for all these Bone clones to come out. So, it got to the point where, especially after Bone stopped doing the East 99 style, I started going back to finding like internet Bone clones that understood the East 99 style, and I just would listen to Bone clones, internet Bone clones, not even like professional Bone clones. I just needed that East 99 style.
Some of them were the best ones, really. If we're being honest, I remember hearing some like internet Bone clones back in the day, and they did the Bone style better than Crucial Conflict or Do or Die or fucking anybody. Because they weren't trying to do the Bone style their own way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never got with the 3 6 Mafia and Bone stole from each other. I think that just happened. Now Do or Die. Maybe not Do or Die. Crucial Conflict definitely stealing the Bone style, but they were still trying to be Crucial Conflict. These online Bone motherfuckers, they were like, I just want to sound like Bone. So they did it the best. Looking, just so you know, more comments coming in. George Ramirez wants to know. He says, can you guys talk about the Ruthless Records family tree and its effect on hip hop today? Oh, crazy. It's not even like a Bone question.
Yeah, well, that image was floating around, and I did keep it. I kept it in our little folder for ideas for Bone shows. So yeah, the Ruthless family tree. I mean, it was explained back on Forgot About Dre by Eminem and Dre. Who taught you how to smoke trees? Eazy-E's, the DOCs, the Snoop Double G's, and the group that said "Mother F the police." So, that Ruthless family was big then. Hobson, finding out that Hobson was part of it. And then you find out like people you didn't even realize, rolled through Ruthless, like possibly Tupac. And then that, you wonder if Ruthless and Death Row secretly were a combined company.
Well, look, I don't even have to talk about, because we know it starts with Eazy-E, okay? And this is where I say Eazy-E gets the most props, because hip hop, and don't get upset guys, but hip hop was a fucking joke to the industry prior to Eazy-E. And what I mean is, it was novelty. It was Grandmaster Flash, even Dr. Dre. It was fucking these flashy suits. They were
the World Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, the industry wanted it almost to be a ha-ha, okay? And I don't want to get too deep in the conspiracy, but we know that, the entertainment business, was known to use, African Americans in a socially degrading way, coming up in entertainment, in movies, in all kinds of shit. And I believe at that point it was still kind of like that. Eazy-E was the first gangster to break the wall down, okay? And I don't mean musically. I'm not talking about NWA, because NWA, it doesn't matter how much of that shit NWA rapped. It took the business, the shit that isn't on record, to make that happen. And for Eazy-E to be accepted and be able to, do what he did with that label, I mean, that set it up not just for, you know, you can connect easy all the way up to a guy like 50 Cent, you know, all the way up, right? Including whoever's under like a guy like 50. But it boils down to this: without Easy, I don't know if hip hop. I mean, fuck. If it exists, it doesn't exist the way it does, bro. He broke the wall down, and I mean, I think he needed Jerry Heller as well. Jerry doesn't get his props because people just the same way people hate Tamika, they hate Jerry. But you know, the fact is, without Jerry, it probably couldn't have happened. But Eazy-E made it so gangsters could be in this industry. Period. You wouldn't have any of these guys. He is the first entertainment business gangster. Fight me on it, somebody.
And you could point to like Ice-T, but Easy along with Jerry Heller. And,
no.
Well, and yeah, Easy's the face of Ruthless, but you know, Jerry Heller not only, you know, did he do Ruthless, but if you listen to some of his interviews, he was involved with, I think he said Pink Floyd and other legendary groups, so he knew how to craft the magic to create superstars. So NWA, everybody in there became a superstar. Ice Cube is the Don Mega. Dr. Dre is he's like a royalty, and Eazy-E's forever remembered. Ren, MC Ren and Yella, you know, they're still there, and I love both of them. But you know, there's a certain magic on, and obviously Bone Thugs and Harmony, certain magic there that you have to have a special understanding on how to craft that and to create legends in the game. So I'm giving a little bit of props to Jerry, you know.
Let me tell you why I can't say it was Ice-T before Eazy-E. You ready?
Yeah.
Even though Ice-T was edgier than like a lot of shit at that point, because Ice-T was like early 80s, whereas Eazy's, you know, late 80s, mid-late 80s. I still think they were pimping fucking Ice-T, bro. I think Ice-T at that point was a complete creation of whoever the fuck told him to be whatever the fuck he was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, Eazy to me was the first one that was like, I'm the boss. I'm gonna fucking do it the way I want to. Ice-T fell under somebody. Eazy-E was the motherfucking man.
Yeah,
Eazy-E went to the fucking White House. To the fucking... Eazy-E is the first fucking rapper in the White House, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's true. That, I mean, the only thing I'll say, being from South Florida, is that Luther Campbell, he wasn't doing gangster rap, but he was doing like dirty raps rap. And Luke was definitely they used to call him the mayor of Miami.
But remember, I'm not talking about the raps. I wasn't talking about NWA. I'm not talking... Listen, Eazy-E could have done it 15 years after all these guys. These guys could do it all they wanted, but it wasn't accepted. Their CDs were not selling like that. They were not being accepted to do these shows. You know, Eazy made it open. He made it a platform. He made it real. He made it a household fucking name. He made it so these guys could do it. So Ice-T, so Luther, so all these guys could go on nationwide tours and do stadiums and not, you know, shitty places somewhere in the fucking hood, because that was the only place where you could do rap music. Eazy brought it to the front fucking door, because again, it's not about the music, it's about what happened on paper behind the desk.
And the craziest thing with Eazy is that they were doing explicit music, but they were so lovable, right? So it's like, and I think Ice Cube even had the song "I'm the Guy That You Love to Hate," and but they were lovable. You couldn't hate NWA, and they really brought political rap to the forefront. And I think if to your point, they coined the phrase gangster rap. I remember the news, like they were always talked about on the news, defining gangster rap. So if they created a whole new genre, yeah, I agree. No, the Ruthless influence, they changed the game, and then you know, Death Row is also part of that. Death Row kind of is like an outshoot of Ruthless and Aftermath.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and 50 Cent.
It's part of that, but you have Death Row would have never, Suge Knight, these guys, they wouldn't have existed If Eazy-E wouldn't have done it, that shit wouldn't have, it's not even like, oh, death row would have happened, it just would have happened later. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. Death row would have never even existed if it wasn't for Eazy-E and Ruthless Records. Period. Fight me. Somebody tell me different.
Well, and
Never.
and to throw like a caveat, not a caveat, but a real weird twist to this whole thing, is that I looked up who owns Death Row Records catalog now, and it said that Entertainment One, I guess, owns the Death Row catalog, and Entertainment One is the label that put out New Waves. So is Bone theoretically on Death Row now?
Dun dun dun. I'll go further. Entertainment One, the number one, like One Nation, like Tupac, One Nation. John hates when I go here with it. It's fucking. I love the craziness, but no, yeah. I mean, Entertainment One, they own the Row. They own the fucking Row, and that is where Bone puts shit out. So, hey, Death Row. Death Row is my favorite label of all time. Yeah, I think they're my favorite label of all time. And then No Limit Records is probably my second favorite. And I know Bone fans are just like, what? Mo Thug's Records isn't your favorite? No, Mo Thug Records is not my favorite record label of all time. The Mighty Mighty Row is my favorite label of all time. And while I think Eazy-E and none of... I do believe that Eazy-E, everything that I just said, I also believe that Death Row's impact is the greatest impact of any record label ever.
Yeah.
As far as hip hop, I think they have the greatest hip hop impact. And I'm not saying like they're winning by like, you know, light years, because I mean there's some very fucking close competition. So I mean I don't think it's just like Death Row and whoever's in second place might as well be in, you know, 15th. I mean I think they're barely scraping by a huge amount of fucking labels. But overall, I think their impact is the greatest.
Yeah, and it kind of goes to, because you could argue that Def Jam is probably the most important rap label, but as Tupac once said, he said that, you know, he even used Crucial Conflict as an example. He said Crucial Conflict could sell 5 million albums, but people are going to come to Death Row to hear what we have to say. And whatever we say, you know, is going to trump whatever Crucial Conflict is saying. But to also talk about this kind of thing on why I opened myself to like Crucial Conflict and Do or Die is because during the Ruthless Records versus Death Row, I stayed loyal to Eazy-E and Ruthless Records to the point where, like, the kid I used to sit next to in school, he had the Chronic, and I was just like, oh, I can't even look at that. And I would have my 187 Eazy-E album. And he's like, look, man, you're on the losing ship. The future's Death Row. Ruthless is the past. And I'm like, no, Ruthless. And I liked Ruthless so much that I even think I had the Terry B album, if you guys know who Terry B is. And anything Ruthless was putting out, Above the Law, I had every single Above the Law album. Anything, every MC Ren album. I was just addicted to Ruthless, I never did Death Row at the beginning.
When Ruthless fans became Death Row fans, it reminds me of, like, I can remember when, like, there were hardcore No Limit fans that all of a sudden became Cash Money fans. And they just acted like they were never No Limit fans. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just remember when I can't say I really remember because I was pretty young. I was pretty young when that was going on. I can remember, like, the what's the fucking Eazy-E diss with BG Knockout and fucking...
Yeah, that's the 187 Dre, it's on.
Yeah, I can remember, like, when the video straight off the motherfucking... What is it? Compton?
Yeah. So, real motherfucking G's. Real Compton City G's.
So I remember that. But I was pretty young at that time. But I remember people just kind of acting like... No, Death Row. I was Ruthless. I was never down. Fuck that. I was never down with that. Death Row, motherfucker. And people were the same way with the Ruthless to Death Row as they were No Limit to Cash Money. Just one day it was like they didn't fuck with No Limit anymore. It was like, nah, always Cash Money, man. I always hated that too.
Yeah, well,
'cause-
yeah, and actually, to give you an idea on how dedicated I was to Ruthless, was that's how I became a Bone fan, was because Eazy-E had that advertisement that was showing his new group. So, you know, BG Knockout was going to come out, then he did this thing with Bone, and I was like, well, whoever these Bone Thugs and Harmony guys are, I'm going to buy it because Eazy-E co-signed it. And yeah, and you know, and missing out on the beginning of Death Row taught me that lesson. And then also, but I didn't really learn it because I remember No Limit versus Cash Money. Again, I stayed with the ship. I stayed with No Limit at the beginning. And I was like, why do we have to hate Cash Money? They're good. And then one day I just saw, like, I think it was Back That Ass Up or some video about Juvenile, and I was like, I'm not gonna hate Cash Money anymore. I'm gonna become a Cash Money fan because I was like, I hated liking them and not being able to like them, and I'm like, I'm just not gonna follow the crowd anymore. I'm gonna like Cash Money and No Limit. But then it just kind of became Cash Money.
I will tell you guys that, well, Mo Thugs isn't my most favorite. They're in my top 5. Speaking of Mo Thugs, we did a whole video series on it. Mo Thugs Greatest Hits, Volume 1 and 2. We put out our predictions, and Johnny, the track list for the first one came out, and we pretty much fucking nailed it. I think we briefly talked about it. And I don't know if you saw, but the track list for Volume 2 has dropped as well. I don't know if it's on iTunes and shit yet. I know the first disc is. I don't know if the second one is, but the track list is out.
How did we do on the? How did we do? Because I don't have it in front of me. I remember glancing at it once.
Yeah, we did. Let me see. We did okay. We did just okay, I think, on the second one. We did have some of our picks that we thought would be on the first one on the second one. I'm trying to see if I can find our list. But yeah, we did okay, I will say. And you called this. Mo Thug's Family Tree from The Art of War is on it. I never thought we would see that because that's you know, a Ruthless Records release. I definitely didn't think we'd see that. But hey, surprised the fuck out of me. Mo Thug's Family Tree is on there. So John, you get a invisible point for that one.
Well, and I think it cancels out with you had some prediction that also worked out, I think, on the first album. And I'll just say that, you know, how cool would it have been if Shots to the Double Glock was on there for the few fans that didn't realize that a lot of the Mo Thug guys are on Shots to the Double Glock. It didn't really dawn on me. Like, I remember for myself, later on, I was like, oh, geez, these are the guys. These are the Mo Thugs. After the Mo Thug disc came out. Like, when I only had Eternal, Mo Thugs wasn't out yet, and I'm just thinking, who are these guys? And then after the Mo Thugs album came out, that made everything make sense. It made that Shots to the Double Glock made sense. It made the line from First of the Month when Lazy Bone says, get ready for the bone, the Mo Thug, Poetic Hustlers, and the Graveyard Shift. And like, suddenly everything made sense once Mo Thugs came out. And I think Shots to the Double Glock for the newer fans, if they just didn't realize or they didn't intricately dissect Eternal like the old fans do, they'd say, oh, wow, look, yeah. Look at that, Shots to the Double Glock. But that didn't end up on there. Mo Thug Family Tree thankfully did, and that's a great Mo Thug track. It would have been terrible for a Greatest Hits not to have Mo Thug Family Tree.
Well, I'll tell you this. It looks like it just says intro, and I'm going to assume that that's the intro to Mo Thugs 2, and we guessed that. So we got that. Mighty Mo Thug, we guessed that. We guessed Riot by Flesh and Bone. That is not on here.
Wow.
Mo Murda is on here. Now, I believe, we guessed that for our disc 1, but it's on disc 2.
Now, I think they meant to say Mo Murder, right? If it's track 5 on Mo Thug Family Scriptures, that actually was called Mo Murder.
Well, it's listed as Murda on here. So we'll see what the fuck it is.
Isn't Mo Murda the song on Eternal? Mo Murda, Murda, Mo Murda.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's no way that that's what it is. So it's got to be a fuck up, right?
Right. And Mo Murda and Mo Murder is not to be confused with Murder Mo, which is on Crazy Bone Thug Mentality 99.
Very Necessary. We didn't guess that one at all.
What's that one from? Is that from Mo Thug 3?
It's probably 3 or 4. I think 3 maybe. So, Ballers Flossin', which was on our disc 1, but that's on there. The Players, we didn't guess that. I'm pretty sure that's on Mo Thugs 2.
The Players.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe that's one of the later ones. See, that's the problem. And I it's so funny because I think a lot of this is probably 3 and 4.
Right.
And I told you that I thought we were going to see a lot of that. I'm surprised it's not more of that.
Well, so and maybe some of these releases may be from like, hey, Free. Is that the song by Gold?
Scant does a song called To the Players on Mo Thugs 3. So maybe we got another another fucking one that's in there incorrectly, because I don't see anything on 4 called that. And then, yeah, Free, that's got to be the Gold song. That's crazy. Right. That's fucking wild if they put that on there. That's got to be the Gold song.
Hey, and look, we got another Graveyard Shift track. I did pull up lazygear.com, so I see that Silence is Necessary, Don't Tell Them Who You Are is on there. So that's kind of cool. And actually, Silence actually, was it on Crazy's album? I mean, I know it's featuring Graveyard Shift, but
yeah. It was gonna be on the GYS album, and then it ended up on his. Yeah, it's on both of them. So and then it's on here.
Now that Mo Thuggin track is that the one with Crazy and it's like track 5 on Thug on the Line? Mo Thuggin?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know the song I'm talking about? It's him and I don't know if it's not Larice. Who was it? Larice? Can't remember.
Bro, this track list is wild to me. Free, it's got Free on here, and then I see shit. Like you said, Silence, which we didn't guess Silence. That's 2 Graveyard Shift albums. I guess technically, Ride with the Player, Tighten Up Your Operation, Rumors and War. It's really good. It's not what I expected. It leaves room. This is what's crazy, is it justifiably, because there's a bunch of tracks that you and I picked that aren't even on either one of these. It justifiably leaves room for the Greatest Hits Volume 3.
I mean, as I was saying, it would be okay because all these tracks aren't available anyway. Some of these tracks on some streaming services, so why not? Why not?
Yeah. I saw some people upset. They were like, I just want some fucking new shit. Just give me some new shit. Which, I would love to have some new shit too, but this is what I thought of. I was like, you can't stream any of this fucking shit anywhere. Any of this Mo Thug shit. I think it's great that it's finally all on Spotify and Apple Music and all that. Like, I'm pumped. I hope Lazy Bone puts out more shit. I gotta give El Berna the props. He is the one that's consistently trying to put out the greatest hits, the Faces of Death, the Lost Archives. Like, he is trying to give the fans, this is the shit we want. Don't fucking complain about it, you motherfuckers. You want them putting out shit. You're always complaining that there's no Bone shit coming out, and then Lazy Bone does it, and it's like, I don't want a greatest hits. Fuck you. Be happy El Berna is putting the shit out. I want as much shit as Lazy Bone wants to fucking make.
Yeah, it would have been crazy cool though if there was one unreleased track, especially those 2 songs that we thought we were gonna get from Mo Thugs. Like, what was the one at Part 2? There was like 2 Part 2 tracks. Was it Budsmoker's Only Part 2?
Oh, yeah.
And the other one.
Yeah,
it would have been cool to get one of those, at least one of those 2, if not both, or at least something that was unreleased. Just to, although then again, it may not make it a greatest hits though. If you put out some like that was the one problem I always had was if they, when greatest hits would come out with like an unreleased track at the end, it's like, well, it's really not a greatest hit.
They do that. Here's why they're fine to not do that on this one. They usually do that when it's a group and they're about to like try to tour, and they put out the greatest hits, and then they'll put out a single to go with that greatest hit so they can do a new video. Mo Thugs isn't a fucking active thing. They don't need to put out. And again, I want to hear new shit. I hope Mo Thugs comes up with, you know, Mo Thugs 5, the unreleased chapter. But for the greatest hits, I think this was the right move. I love that it's 2 discs. I love that we were wrong about a bunch of shit and what we are going to see. Because like I said, it leaves it open for Volume 3. And I hope we see a Volume 3. Support this, guys. Get out there, support it. It's still on sale. It's $12.95 right now. 2 disc. You get 2 discs for $12.95. And I'm gonna say that to say this. I see a fucking exponential amount of you motherfuckers that cry on these groups that you don't have the CDs from DJ Unique's websites, and you wish you would have ordered Leatherface Underground and Bone Instrumentals and all those, the Bruce Hathcock CDs, all those CDs that DJ Unique put out himself, now years later are some of the most collectible and expensive ones, and people are like, I wish I would have ordered that.
Yeah,
these are not going to be in the store. You know what I mean? These CDs are the limited run. Lazy Bone's going to do these, and then it's out. Lost Archives. Think about that. Think of how many of you wish you had the Lost Archives. You're going to wish you had this. Once they're done being made, they won't be made. And you're going to wish you had this in your fucking collection. $12.95. Don't be one of those fans that fucking bitches that they don't do shit. And then when they do some shit, you don't support it. That's fucked up. $12.95. Get out there. Support LazyBone, lazygear.com.
Is it $12.95 for both together or $12.99 for per disc?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's on sale if you do the pre-order, okay, because it's in pre-order mode right now, meaning you're going to order it and they're going to ship it to you when it's ready. So if you get down with the get down, it's $12.95 on pre-order. Once it comes off pre-order and it's pressed and you want to buy it, it's $19.95. So that's why I'm saying put your money on the wood. Put your money on the wood. Put your money on the wood. Go put your money on the wood. Help out, support. $12.95, and you're gonna get 2 discs, and years from now you're gonna be one of those ones like, yo, I got a copy of that.
Yeah. Did Poetic Hustlers get a track on this double album?
Ooh, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. All right, Ballers Flossing, yeah, Day and Night. It's on disc 1.
Okay. Because I'm right now. I'm going through. I'm checking our disc 1 because we did do it in the order of importance, right? So. Ghetto Cowboy, is that on there?
Well, our disc 1, I'll tell you, I already did a.
Yeah, I see it. Ghetto Cowboy's there. We had Thug Devotion, and that is number 2 on there. Yep. All Good is All Good on this thing. Yep, it's on disc 2.
All Good's on the second one. Yeah.
Take Your Time by Trey. Did Take Your Time make it?
Oh, it should have. If Take Your Time didn't, that's what I'm saying. There's room. Yeah, no Take Your Time on here. Is that crazy? They had a video for it.
Wow, no Take Your Time. And then
disc
This Ain't Living
3.
This Ain't Living is there. All Life Long, did that make it?
Yeah, disc 2.
And real quick, speaking of All Life Long, that's the giveaway this month, right?
All Life Long, the giveaway for this month. Sealed, brand new copy.
I didn't even know there was a single for that. Like, I was all day today. I've been happy because I never saw it, and when you sent me the picture of it, I was like, oh, all right. I'm glad they actually made a copy of that into a single.
Yeah. Yep.
So did he really wanna? That's on there. Yep. And Mo Murder made that disc too. Ballers Flossing made it. Day and Night. You say Day and Night's the one that made it? Yeah, Day and Night made it. Mighty Mighty Warrior made it. No Pretender. Low Down. Did Low Down get on there?
They showed love.
There it is.
Yeah,
they showed love to the Soldier Boy. Number 10. Disc 2.
Low Down Dirty Shame.
So Family Scriptures though? Is that on there? Family Scriptures. Okay, good. All right, well, we could give them this. Everything we had on our disc 1 except Trey is on one of these 2 discs.
Yeah, so, and that was the that was like our disc 1 was, so we didn't set disc 1 and disc 2 up like necessarily what we expected to see on each disc. Our disc 1 was set up as like, we expect to see all these on here, and disc 2 was like, I'm pretty sure these are all going to be on here too.
I'm surprised. Oh no, it's on there. Do Your Thing is there. Yeah, the ones I expected minus Trey. So they got him. They got him. It's a good list. It's a good. I mean,
it's a good list, and like I said, I hope the fans get behind it. I hope we get a volume 3. If you get a volume 3, that's when the well will just be dry enough that he'll probably have to give you guys an unreleased thing. So that's how this works, right? Get behind these first 2, drive the market, so there has to be a volume 3. Volume 3, the well will probably just be dry enough that he'll throw you guys an unreleased bone.
Dude, imagine if volume 3 was the Mo Thug Lost Archive. All unreleased Mo Thug. That would be killer.
See? You got to support it, though. You got to support. So,
and imagine, too, like, not only would it be, like, Mo Thugs, but also all the, Poetic Hustler unreleased, Graveyard Shift unreleased, if any exist. Soulja Boy's got so much unreleased. So, Two True's probably got a ton of unreleased. So, it'd be really cool to see an unreleased Mo Thug compilation disc. Hopefully something like that happens.
Yeah,
so make it happen, fans.
Well, lazygear.com. Get out there and, like I said, make it happen. I got mine ordered. I'm just waiting for it to come off of the pre-order, and there's that.
I want to hit on just one final note on the previous topic we were talking about of Ruthless versus Death Row and Cash Money versus No Limit and all that. Most people outside of South Florida don't realize that there was a third party in the battle. So you had Eazy-E's It's On Dre as well as Cowards in Compton, and then Dre had the one with Snoop. I forgot the name of it. Bow Wow Wow, Yippee Yo, Yippee Yay, Death Rows, and so they were battling each other. But Luke and the Poison Clan of Luther Campbell and the Poison Clan made a track called Cowards in Compton Get Sprayed in Dade. Dade County is the county that Miami is in. So most people don't realize that Cowards in Compton Get Sprayed in Dade was the third part of the battle. It didn't get as much popularity, but there is a music video for it, and it's on, I think, Luke's album called I Got Shit on My Mind. So again, as a South Floridian, Luke was a big deal to us. He was the Eazy-E of Florida, and Cowards in Compton. I just want to advertise that JT Money of the Poison Clan was the man back then, and Courvoisier was on the song. If you never heard Cowards in Compton and you like battle raps, check out Cowards in Compton by Luke and JT Money and Courvoisier.
I'm just seeing here, this just came through while we were talking. I see Too True is active on their YouTube, doing some uploads and some stuff. So Too True TV, I just subscribed as Beyond the Harmony. Shout out to Too True TV. Well,
they have recent videos? Like Too True's got recent new stuff?
They're just doing new uploads of like some older stuff.
That's still cool.
Yeah. I Too True, they're out there and active on it too. I saw some people they want us to do a Too True interview. Hey, I'm down to do it. I'm down to do it. If you guys want to see a Too True interview, you told us, make sure you tell Too True. They're both on Facebook. Make sure you let Too True know that you want to hear them on Beyond the Harmony. It makes it easier for us if the fans are letting them know, hey, we want to see you guys on this show. And, hey, I would love to interview them. Really, anybody from, and not that I don't, like, I've so far enjoyed every single fucking interview that we've done. But my favorites are going to be the original Mo Thug cast, Volume 1 and 2.
Yeah. And the cool thing about Too True is that they're like wine. It got better with time. And like, I love to go back and listen to Too True a lot more now than per se at the time. Like at the time, as I had said this in another video we were talking about, that there was just so much good music happening at the time that I couldn't devote everything to Too True. except maybe the tracks they did with Crazy and Lazy. I mean, I owned A New Breed of Female, but I owned a bunch of other really killer albums at the time. So going back and listening to them now, I'm like, man, I slept on Too True. They're actually way better than I remembered it.
I'm gonna tell you that I believe that, and I base this off some theories, and you'll hear some of it in our interview with Romeo. But Too True had a record deal with another label, and I'm gonna save who and everything, and they ended up with Mo Thug, because family first, and their record came out first, and I've always tried to put together why their record may have come out first. Now, part of it could be what I just said, that they had like a pending deal somewhere else. So it was like, hey, come over here. If you come over here, we'll make sure that, we get you out first. The other reason that it might have is I've always thought that Crazy Bone really had a thing for Da Brat and her style and who she was and her as a rapper. And I think he kind of saw like a little bit of Da Brat in the members of Too True, and pushed them out. And the thing is that I really don't think female rappers were killing it at that time, and I thought that that kind of hurt them to go Too True first. Not them meaning Mo Thugs, although it might have, but them meaning Too True. It put a lot of weight on Too True to be the first album, and it happened at a time where it wasn't fair for fucking Too True to have that kind of weight. I think if their record would have came third or fourth, it would have done considerably better. I think they put weight on them that was undeserved, which is unfortunate. But again, I think that they saw maybe the success of somebody like Da Brat and thought that it could happen with Too True. But she's a very special circumstance, especially during that time frame.
Yeah, because at the time it was like the Foxy Browns, the Little Kims. It was more of a sex appeal, and Too True had like the real raw appeal. I think they paved the way for many female MCs that came after them. I just think they fell in the wrong era. It's too bad too. Like, I think they would have thrived in a little bit later on, like maybe 5 years later. The game was ready for an act like Too True. I just think the time period was a different era of female rap going on, unfortunately.
And it's too bad, because that, I listen to that album now and I'm like, man, it's just like anything. It's like you just said, I didn't appreciate it at that time. At this time, when I hear it, I'm like, this is good. This is Mo Thug, motherfucker. This is Mo Thug and what I want to hear.
And I think it's musically well done. Like, the album has a musical aspect in addition to a rap aspect. It has that real Mo Thug feel. So or at least the early Mo Thug, where it's not just a rap album, it's more than that. And
no, I agree. I like their album. So again, if you I would love to interview Too True. They played such an important part. If you guys want to hear Too True on here, we know it. Make sure you let them know. We want to hear you on Beyond the Harmony. Can you go on Beyond the Harmony, and we'll make it happen for you guys. We're getting ready to wind down this episode, but I want to make sure we hit on a couple other things. I'm having fun, so I'm going to pick a random one off the list of topics, and I'm going to let you go with it, because we got a list, and it gets pretty fucking random here at the end. You ready for what I want to talk about? No, I'm going to pick it. You ready for what I want to talk about?
Yeah. I want to hear this.
All right. Topic number 17 on our list is Dear Lazy, the song by Busy Bone. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, you had asked me about this one the other day, and we had a good convo,
first,
and I can't
want to
remember.
know how the fuck did it get on the list because of the convo that we had?
Yeah, when we were talking about it, and I don't even remember how we talked about it, but when we talked about it, I was like, wow, this is a real good convo. I was almost thinking of trying to find a way to capture the recording and just put that in here, but that was so long ago at this point. But it was a great convo. You asked me something specific about it, and I can't remember what it was.
The specifics was because Dear Lazy is the same verse 3 times, but it's not the same recording 3 times. It's 3 different recordings of the same verse. And I personally, I love that. I love that because you can view that a couple different ways, okay? Just the basic way to view that is just like, what the fuck? It's the same. Why is this so repetitive? But if you listen to it, you listen to the delivery, you listen to the emotion, and if you know anything about the song, it's an open letter, and it's busy, at what I believe is probably the height of some kind of chemical abuse. He's really going through the motions at that time. A lot of issues with Bone, and it's an open letter to Lazy, pleading for his brotherhood, and saying, hey, how could this be like this? And if you listen to the emotion in the voice on every delivery, it becomes more and more. And all I picture is, I'm like, this motherfucker said everything he had to say in one verse, but there were so many ways to say it that he had to do it 3 times. And I feel it every time. Every verse, I feel every verse, but I feel every verse differently. It's to me, it's one of the best songs to me, even though it's kind of like unreleased, unproduced, undermixed, all that shit. You can tell that this motherfucker Busy Bone feels it, and he's not feeling it like he was feeling songs and it's just a great song. He wasn't feeling it like it's a great song. This is a piece of this guy, y'all, and each delivery is heartfelt to me. And I said that in our conversation, and I was curious what your take on the 3 verses were, and why he even did that. What possessed this man to rap the same verse 3 times?
Yeah, and my recollection of it, one was I was excited that he used "Stairway to Heaven" by Led Zeppelin. So that was cool. And I'm just giving you like my recollection of experiencing it, and it was just that I'm like, oh my God, Busy did Led Zeppelin, okay. And I'm hearing this first verse, and I'm like, man, that's some messed up stuff to say in a song, bro. And then I'm excited to hear more about it, and then it's the same verse again, and then it's the same verse 3 times, and I did recognize that he did perform it differently each time. It's just that I think like every time I'm just like, man, imagine this was another verse, because I wanted to know more about what he had to say. And it was the same thing performed differently, so he's saying it differently each time, so I should experience what he's saying different. It's like, hey, really check what I'm saying. And I did, but there was always the part of me saying, yeah, but I really would have liked to hear something else. Like imagine if this was 3 verses. So I think I always stayed hung up on that, but I did enjoy the different performance throughout it, and I did listen to the track a lot. And really, like, listening to it, you're like, man, that's pretty rough, bro. Like, it's cool hearing the performance, it's cool hearing the emotion, but then at the same time, you're like, man, what happened to my dogs? What happened to my favorite group? So,
yeah, no, it's a real emotional delivery. If you're in the boat that John's in, and you just heard it and you were just hoping for more, stand up from your seat and go sit on the other side of the table and listen to the song, and try to listen to it for everything that has to be said is said in that verse. But like I said, it's got to be said differently every time. And it's got to be said differently every time because I think the way Busy wanted to present that to Lazy, he wanted to say those things and he couldn't figure out how to say it. You're going to yell this at somebody, you're going to say it to them, on an easy level, because we've heard Lazy and Busy yell at each other, laugh with each other. It's so funny because those guys define the brotherhood to me. So that song is so real. I love Lazy's, I love Busy's verse in it. I see in our topics another thing that we have, and this is the fucking total other side of the coin for Busy Bone. Is topic 23 is Busy Bone on the Bone 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 track.
The reason I have that listed there is because I never asked you your opinion on it, but that was the moment for me. That was the first WTF Busy Bone moment I had. I hadn't noticed it. I had Alpha and Omega. I had like a downloaded version of beginning and the end. None of it registered to me. But when I heard him on Bone Bone Bone, not doing the same thing the rest of the guys were doing. Like, who be the rappers, who be the thugs that do this, and Busy not following that same format. And not only did he not follow the format, it was crazy rap terror. I don't remember the lines, but it was just so bizarre. I mean, I ended up loving the verse. Like, I loved to perform it. I didn't understand how awesome it was until I like rapped it in front of the mirror and saw how crazy you could be performing it. And I was like, oh, that actually is genius. But I just wish it was on another song, not on Bone Bone Bone, because I wish he followed the format. But that was that first moment where I was like, wow, Busy's kind of on some other stuff here. What's going on here? Was that your first moment where you're like, what's going on here?
That whole album is like a first moment for me in a bunch of ways. Yeah. Definitely like that. I was really let down, honestly, because I loved that, you know, who was the rappers that stick the pistol up in the party, drinking that one vial on the way cardi, drunk in the fin and fuck up somebody. Boom, thug. Dude, when that dropped and then it just kept happening, like, and you guys got to remember, that was a normal thing at that point. Songs like Black Rob, like Whoa, this repetitive nature, you know, had become very normal. So to finally hear Bone do a song like that, I was like, oh, Bone did this only the way Bone could. Bone Thug, you know? Yeah.
Not only that, they finished, they complimented, you know, Crazy, Lazy, and Wish. All their verses followed the same, like, it was a cool compliment following the same style, and then they even had the same voice intonations, like at the end of Lazy's verse, "El Burner, yeah, we came up out of the dope," and they all kind of, you got to hear each of them do their own thing, and then you're like, oh, well, Busy's next, let's hear Busy do it, and it's like, it's also
rap game terror, money murder with all the good shit, scandalous rappers respect this.
So they try to be Pac, and then they try to be Biggie, but I just want to be Busy. It is, even though it's a cool verse, it's just out of place.
I love that part. So some of it is weird, you know. Son of a chicken, there ain't no friends when it comes to the ends. And I'm gonna say word to gangsters.
Yeah,
it's
taste the lost cause, pass the kids, preach the word. Thank God that I had a father. It was cool, but it was out of place.
I'm not even mad at the lyrics. The only thing that I wish would have happened was he would have followed the cadence. Like, even you can almost tell like he didn't follow the cadence at all, and they just like somebody was just like, all right, well, we got to mix a few of these Bone Thugs in, and they just kind of mixed them in where they could. So I just wish he would have followed the fucking cadence. Like, I'm all about creativity. But when you got three guys, and they almost should have thrown Busy somewhere in the middle so it wasn't as absurd. When you got three guys and they're like, hey, this is how we're going to do it. And then Busy's just like, nah, man, fuck that shit. Fucking.
What was confusing too on the Thug World Order album is because you hear that and you're like, what in the world? And there was a few other songs where you're like, what's going on with Busy? But then on Home, it's vintage Busy. It's the Busy that everybody wants, and you're like, were these songs recorded in the same year? Because they were such night and day difference. Busy Bone on Home versus Bone Bone Bone. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, but listen, that album is weird. You and I were talking, you know, pre-show, and you said not solo. What was the first like Bone Thugs song? So them as a group where you were like, yo, what the fuck, I'm not with this. And right. and not that, you know, because there were some songs that they're not my favorite, but I don't hate them, you know, like even my favorite album, Art of War, has some songs that I'm like, this isn't my favorite, but I'm not like, oh, this is a piece of shit, like this is a bad song.
Right.
It wasn't until Thug World Order that I heard a song that I was like, what the fuck is happening right now, Bone? And again, you know, there might have been some solos in there where I was like, what the fuck? But you know, you don't expect Voltron to be as powerful when it's one thing. So some fuck ups in the solos are acceptable. But up until Thug World Order, I was like, well, at least when they're unified, at least when they're, you know, the Megazord, it's Power Rangers, by the way, kids. They're undefeatable. But Thug World Order, guess who's back?
That was
when they did
that hurt me too, man. That one was pain.
dog. And it was so, bro. And listen to me. Thug World Order intro happens, which if you remember, that's that is not one of my favorite intros either. And then Bone Bone Bone, which I loved Bone Bone Bone, but
Yeah.
Bone 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 ends like we were just talking about with that weird Busy Bone verse. So you're like, okay. So you got to think of when you're first hearing this. You got this intro, Bone Bone Bone, and then song 3 is Guess Who's Back. And I was, dude, I can remember being like, fuck, we're fucked. Fuck. And then song 4 is Home. And Home is cool, but again, you're thinking of this line out that you're getting the first time. So you get this weird non-bone intro, Bone Bone Bone, which is pretty killer, but it's not really a Bone song, but they still smash it. Guess Who's Back? Home. What About Us? I love that song, but it was weird. It had like that East Coast, whatever. Get Up and Get It. They were just fucking like riding the wave of the 3LW chicks. Like it seemed super sellouty to me. It's a weird fucking record for Bone. And that Guess Who's Back, that was the first time that I was like, fuck, what the fuck, what happened?
Yeah, for me too. And I think here's another interesting thing I noticed about Thug World Order, and I might be wrong, but it felt like that was the first album that they actually tackled domestic and real world issues, right? In like they became real people. Whereas before it was like this mystical journey, or like they were warriors, or it was like this adventure story. And then
right, because even like Change the World, I mean they do in Change the World, but Change the World and If I Could Teach the World are still different. They're kind of unspecific. It's just like we got to save the starving babies, Thug World Order was the first time they got real specific about it.
Change the World still felt mystical, and it felt special and magical, right?
Yeah.
But like, was that Not My Baby? Was that on?
Oh yeah, not my baby. Yes.
Like that was a real world situation that took me out of the Bone fantasy. Like when I heard
was like
that
Billie
one, I'm
Jean, right? That was like their Billie Jean.
Yeah, but even Billie Jean is on some weird like busy tip, right? You're like, what the hell is Michael Jackson really talking about? And whereas like Not My Baby was straightforward, it was real, and it was just real life. Whereas everything else was metaphorical, or just it was a fantasy. But this was real, and I felt weird experiencing at the time. Like I'm used to it now because they've done a lot of it since. But it just was this weird feeling where I'm like, oh, okay, I got to get used to Bone are actually real human beings. They're not superheroes. For me, that's what Thug World Order was. It was the disintegration of the fantasy into the reality. If that makes any sense.
I do love a bunch of it. You know what I mean? Like it's not my favorite of the Bone albums by any standard. In fact, if you're going in order, it's my least favorite up to that, that point. But I do love some stuff on it. I love Home.
It was the first time, real quick. Do you agree that was the first time that Bone showed a weakness, or that Bone fell from grace of being like absolute perfection? That was the first time that I experienced like, wow, I don't know, man.
The first time I experienced it was during Resurrection.
Well, yeah.
But it was different. Like, okay, so like Resurrection, I didn't necessarily experience it, but Resurrection made me aware that the imperfections were possible because they were there, because you didn't have Crazy. So it was like the guys that were on the songs were as perfect as they could be at that time, but because they were not fully unified and shit, it was like, oh man, these guys, they could not be perfect. Like, oh shit. Like it kind of made you aware. And then when they did Thug World Order, it was like, oh yeah, this is what the fuck I thought was possible right here.
It was also the first one, I think, that got away from the Unique sound, even though Unique's credited on the album. I think, my favorite track on the album, Unique, was Home. Along with, I guess he had help from Phil Collins. He just had to lift the track, but that's that along with a Thug Soldier Conversation. That's like an interlude. So, that was, I guess, the reason why it was Unique was not really a big part of this album. because
and he did Bone Bone Bone. You know,
oh, did he?
was on
See,
Bone Bone
great,
Bone. Yeah,
great track, and that one did feel that one. You know, when we were talking about Bone Bone, I'm like, yeah, that one felt like a real Bone track right there.
Now he also did Not My Baby though. That's
did
your
he?
boy. Yeah.
That one does not feel like a unique track, but I guess.
See, I think they were
not mine.
I think they were also battling with trying to do some things that were relevant at that time. If you think of What About Us, it's got the kids singing on it.
Yeah.
Trick Daddy, guys like that, they were really known for bringing in the kid chorus orchestras. So that was kind of a normal thing back then. And it was always like one of those moments that people loved, like the kids coming in singing the fucking chorus.
Yeah.
The other thing, the Money, it's got that like East Coasty kind of sample thing going on. Or is that the one? Yeah, I think that one's got like a weird like sample in the beat or something.
Yeah.
So they were playing with some shit. You know what song that I love on there? And I don't know how fans feel about it, but from the first second I heard it, I was like, fuck yes, I love this. Bad Weed Blues, bro. I thought they killed that shit.
Are you like that? Yeah. I was good with it, but at that point I was like, all right, I get it. The weed songs were starting to be like, all right, yeah.
But they switched it up with that one. See, up till that point, it had always been, our weed is so good. Okay, so I wasn't ready, and it all kind of came to a boil at Resurrection with the Weed song, because Weed song was like, they'd had great Weed songs up to that point. I'm not saying that Weed song's necessarily the greatest Weed song of all of them, but it was like the peak. It was like, oh fuck, okay, they've now brought Weed as far as it can go over this many records. How could they possibly talk about Weed again? And so they switched it up. And Bad Weed Blues is all about getting the shitty bag, which in 2018, where I live, shitty bags don't exist anymore. So that's like a thought of the past. But back then, you could get a shitty bag of weed. And I was like, this is a great song because everybody knows this struggle of, you know, I got bad weed.
And I liked that it was Crazy's like continuation of trying out the blues, kind of like continuing over from Art of War. So I liked it in theory, like conceptually. I was like, oh, this is great. I like how Crazy's experimenting with this one. It just like for me wasn't the thing I was checking. It would play, but it just wasn't for me personally. But I appreciated what they accomplished on it.
I love the bluesy riffs too. So if you haven't heard that one in a while, Johnny, you may want to go back. This might be a fine wine for you. I bought a sack of weed. When I got home, I seen that this tree was just a big bag of seeds. These haters done got me for my money. I done spent a couple of $100. Motherfucker. Yo, crazy as that dude.
I did listen to that one a lot. I did, now that I'm thinking of it. Yep.
Thug World Order was cool. But it wasn't, you know, I'll say this too. Resurrection didn't feel forced. And it almost didn't feel forced because Crazy Bone was on it where he was on it. So it just felt like honest music. It felt like the music they wanted to make for that time. Thug World Order has a kind of forced feeling. Like, think about it. Even Bone Bone Bone, Busy Bone's verse feels forced. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Like, that's how I feel when I hear it. It's just, I don't want to do this. I'm going to do what the fuck I want. And the kind of the whole album has just like that transitioning. 2002, bro, that was a weird time for hip hop. I mean, for these guys, you think about it. At that point, they'd been around since 95. 94. It's now 2002. So they're 8 years in the fucking game at that point, bro. At that fucking point. And that, bro, 8 years? That dude, motherfuckers came and went with one song back then.
I used to really like Set It Straight, even though it's a really corny track. But I liked that it showed me that Bone knew how to do some old school kind of rap and have a little bit of fun on the track. Like, that was a fun song. Busy's verse on Money Money is so raw. And what I liked about Money Money too was I was briefly on set when they were filming it in Miami. So that was cool. But yeah, it was for me, it was the first time where I was like, You know, like Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas. Mike Tyson was invincible. Bone was invincible, and Thug World Order showed that they could get like when they took it from Roy Jones in that where they stripped him of his belt. Like that was the first sign of weakness for me for Bone. I didn't want to see weakness, but that was the first time I ever smelled blood in the water.
If Guess Who's Back wasn't on there.
Yeah, that one was pain.
just that one alone fucked the record up for me. So
if you could just take that away, I think that one hurt so bad. It was pain.
That one and Get Up and Get It. If you took Guess Who's Back and Get Up and Get It the fuck out of there, I could really get with it. Even you could probably leave Get Up and Get It. And I'd just be like, well, whatever. That's kind of the single. But Guess Who's Back just made me hate everything with anybody, singing.
I just wanted Get Up and Get It to have more Bone verses instead of more girl verses, right? Like I liked Crazy Bone's verse because it had a positive message. Get up and get out the house. Use your brain. So I did that, and I like that. It's kind of like the song Get Up, Get Out and Get Something by Outkast. And I felt like that song was slept on by Outkast. Like not enough people heard that message. You need to get up and get out and get something. Don't let all your days pass by.
I think I can appreciate it more now, years later. I remember hearing, "You gotta get up, get out, and get something. Get up, get up." I remember hearing that and just like being like, "Fucking, where's my Mo Murder, motherfucker?
Yeah,
what is this shit?"
And it was like going back to the well on first of the month. And I'm like, man, you guys got new hits in you. You don't need to go back to the well and redo Get Up, the first of the month. Get up, get up, get up. It's the first of the month. So it felt like kind of like a going back to the well on a song that was already played. Like I was done with first of the month at that point. I didn't need to hear it again. But
yeah,
I was happy because remember, I was always into the commercialization of it because I always wanted Bone to be charting. I always wanted Bone to be up there so that it could guarantee additional albums. Little did I know, hundreds more would come.
Thug World Order, though, it was like, because after that's the last, record on Ruthless, except for THUGS, which I don't fucking even count, because that's just a collection of unreleased songs. So that's their last album there, and definitely it changes. You got Thug Stories and then Strength and Loyalty. So, in a way, Thug World Order makes sense because it bridges the gap between Resurrection and Thug Stories, which are extremely fucking different. So, Thug World Order kind of bridges the gap. It's a little bit, of both of those.
Right, and with the way we felt about Busy's Out of Placeness on Bone Bone Bone, you can almost see it made the decision that they would make 5 years later. Or 4 years, depending on if you consider Thug Stories, to go 3-man group, which is it's bizarre just thinking that actually was a reality at one point. Now that everybody's back together again, but yeah. It's so wild. At one point, it was like it's just 3 guys from here on out. Thankfully, Flesh got out and brought everybody back together.
Were you because Thug World Order was like the last like group album, right? And then Thug Stories happened, but I remember being a Bone fan and like feeling like Thug Stories almost like went right under the radar, like almost like, is this real? Is this really like an album by them? Like, is this some weird, you know what I mean? Like it almost like went under the radar. Like I didn't even know that it was like a real album until like later.
And that was my biggest issue with it was that there was absolutely no press for it. So, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, what is this? This looks real. It's all 3 of these guys. It sounds professionally made. And I'm like, I need to know what I'm supposed to think about this. It's just, here it is, guys. And it's just 3 of them. There's no Busy Bone. It wasn't explained yet. Strength and Loyalty made it all make sense because they helped explain Strength and Loyalty. That one was thoroughly explained. But Thug Stories, they almost acted like, Thug Stories is like Faces of Death. They act like it doesn't exist. Even when Strength and Loyalty was out, it's like, hey, what about Thug Stories and Bone for Life? We're pushing Strength and Loyalty.
It's weird if you think about it because it came out in September, and then Strength and Loyalty came out in that coming November. So there was quite a bit of time between them, but I mean, it felt like there was no real time between Thug Stories and Strength and Loyalty. And for me, it almost felt like I was like, oh shit, Thug Stories, and then Strength and Loyalty was there to like take all the shine. So it was like, oh, who even gives a fuck? So I was real late on the Thug Stories train.
Well, then remember, Bone for Life, that EP was out, and then also that
Right.
that reality TV show that they did, the one where Lazy's like, man, everybody likes Busy and Crazy before me. I'm always the third guy, and that reality TV show was out. Busy was only present via voicemail and via like speakerphone, and Bone for Life came out, and I'm like, wait, hold on. It just kind of came out, and I had it. I actually had a physical copy of it. I don't remember where I got it, but I just remember sitting there saying, what is this? What's going on here? 3 guys? Because the thorough explanation of them just being 3 wasn't understood yet. And there was no promotion really for Bone for Life. And I think I got Thug Stories around the same time. And I'm like, what are these albums? I just remember being disillusioned. Like what is going on here? Strength and Loyalty made everything feel better. But before Strength and Loyalty, it was like, what's going on?
The excitement of Strength and Loyalty. Strength and Loyalty felt like the first real Bone album since Thug World Order. Like the shit that was happening kind of between those. Like I said, they just kind of missed me with Thug Stories. And that may not be them. That may be me as a shitty fucking fan. But that shit missed me. And then Strength and Loyalty, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. This group is back. And I will say, I was so happy for Bone to make I Tried and have another hit and to do it without Busy Bone. And I say that because I think that Busy is the favorite member on the large scale. And what I mean is, like, if you're not like a Bone fan, like a hardcore fan, you're just a casual fan, most people probably like Busy Bone the most. I even remember all the way back to like Thuggish Ruggish Bone. When Thuggish Ruggish Bone got remixed, I just remember it's like being this cool remix, and then like before Busy's verse dropped, there was just this huge fucking lead up. And I was just like, they make Busy such a fucking big deal, you know? And I was happy to see them do it without him, because it not to do it without him just to say we did it without him. I was happy because it proved that the formula is going to work no matter what. And this brings us full circle to what we were talking about before, and why they're able to go this long, because the formula is going to work no matter who you have in there. It may not work as good. What I mean by that is if Lazy, Flesh, and Wish become the trio, then that album and that tour may not be as good as a different trio or as the 5-man, but that's still going to work. I guarantee that's still going to work. Lazy, Wish, and Flesh together as a trio, that's still going to work. That's still going to be good music. It's not going to be eternal. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying, guys. It's still going to be great music. So I Tried was like the proof. It was like the award that this shit could go forever, because the formula works no matter what they do. They have something special.
Yeah, to liken it to NFL football, it felt like when Steve Young won the Super Bowl to prove that the 49ers could win without Joe Montana. And for them to go as big as they did and show that it could work with 3 guys, you know, it was impressive. I mean, yeah, everybody wants Busy to be there, but you're like, hey, but these 3 guys, this works. And I was just happy they could keep going. And
that's what I think of.
It was a reinvention.
You want Busy there, but if Busy wasn't gonna fucking be there, did you not want an album? Like, did you just want, you know, for the people that were just like, well, I just wanted Busy there, I was like, well, I'm fucking happy that it was like, we're gonna do it whether Busy, and Busy's representational of anybody in this case, okay? It just so happens that he's the example. But I like that the Bone attitude is, we gonna fucking do it no matter who's in, okay? Because it's bigger. Bone is bigger than the 5 of them. To them, it's bigger than the 5 of them. They're like, yo, we got to keep it moving because this is bigger than the 5 of us. So if Busy ain't going to be here, if Crazy ain't going to be here, if Lazy ain't going to be here, we still got to keep it moving. That's what I love about this group. That's why I agree with Romeo. They're the greatest group of all fucking time.
But watch this. Watch this. This goes to show how important the producer is. You got Thug Stories and Strength and Loyalty. It's the same lineup. The 3 guys, Crazy, Lazy, and Wish. And one album is forgettable, Thug Stories. And Strength and Loyalty is unforgettable, right? It's an amazing album. Same guys, different production. How big of a difference that made between those 2 albums?
Well, and I'm gonna say this too. I gotta, guys. I'm gonna use some wrestling comparisons because I think hip hop and wrestling are so similar. But I heard a story once where Vince McMahon, the owner of WWE, used to be WWF, talked about one of the guys that used to write storylines for them, Vince Russo, and how great he was when he was in WWF. And he wrote some of their greatest storylines of the biggest era of wrestling. Well, he switched companies and went to WCW, and they made him the head fucking guy, unleashed boss of writing, and he put out a lot of shit. And it was like, well, how did he do so good over here and he didn't do so well over there? Well, the reason why was he wasn't the number 1 guy over there. There was a filtration system where he had to filter his ideas through Vince and through other people. And so, you know, his strikeouts didn't make it. I feel it's very similar when you see releases like this, because Thug Stories was, you know, independent. If I remember, that happened on like Koch, like the A to Z or whatever the fuck. And so that means that Bone had the full control. That makes them Vince Russo with WCW at this time. There's nobody to filter it through. Whatever Bone likes, that's what's going on there. And that's good. It's not a bad album, but it's not the best album. Now, you fast forward, and Strength and Loyalty, you got to filter things through somebody at that point. Swiss Beats, the rest of the label, you know, that's an Interscope release. Don't forget, it's Full Surface, but Full Surface was on an Interscope. Interscope makes hits, right? All the way back to the Mighty Mighty Death Row. So you have a filtration there, and we know that there were things that didn't make it. Now, as a Bone fan, there were some things that didn't make it that I'm sure I wanted to, but from a label perspective, you know, I think that's where you see the difference is you have a machine of people saying what's going to work and what doesn't. So it's the producers and it's the team. And it's the fact that sometimes the artist doesn't know best. You think you do because you're the guy. You are Bone Thugs. How could you not know better than Bone Thugs? But they created a formula. They almost created a Bone Thug algorithm, and you got to respect that algorithm if you want to have a hit song. And
unfortunately, like Thug Stories, when I look back on it, I'm like, this album actually is it's a good album. It's just, it's not a greatest hits album, but it's a solid effort. Like, it's not a bad album. It's above average. It's just not stellar. Actually, Thug Stories is probably in ways better than Thug World Order in ways.
Yeah, I really like the last song on it. You don't wanna live this life, know this life. I really like that one. I think, you know what else was weird for that one? If I remember correctly, did it come out around the same time as the Ruthless THUGS?
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I guess that one came out. Let's see, that one came out in November. The Thugs album came out in November of 2007, and then Thug Stories came out September of 2006. So actually, I guess THUGS came out around the same time as Strength and Loyalty.
Right. I just remember it being partnered with some other album. Maybe it was Bone for Life. Maybe it was. I just felt like I got Thug Stories along with something else, and whatever the something else was, I listened to it more. My favorite track on it was "Stand Not in Our Way." Actually, I'd like to "Do It Again" and "Stand Not in Our Way." Those were so, to be honest, like I actually did play those two tracks a lot. I used to listen to those on the way to school, and then "Still No Surrender" was cool. That intro, bro. You know the intro? It was like a video. It was like intro/fire. Do you remember the first time seeing that video?
Yeah.
Losing your mind?
Yeah, you know, is it the song Fire? I'm just like, Fire's cool. Like, it's not bad, but I'm not like blown away. But that intro is fucking.
The intro, when that intro happened, that beat, I'm surprised. Did Kenny McLeod do other stuff with Bone? Because that beat for that intro was so unique. Like, it was so Bone. And I remember hearing that thinking, Bone is back, because they were lacking that sound on Thug World Order. And when I saw that intro, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to get whatever album this is on. And I think that intro came out, and then Bone for Life was the only thing I could buy. And I'm like, where's this song so I can get it?
Bone for Life was like a weird DJ Unique release. I really fucking didn't love that at all.
Oh, the BoneThugAffiliate.com or something?
Yeah, it was like one of those fucking... One of them things was that.
It was just an EP, and it didn't know what it wanted to be.
I can't lie. It's one of my least, even though that lineup's not bad, Crazy Lazy Wish, that era is one of my least favorite eras. Even with Strength and Loyalty, I really like that record. But it's one of my least favorite fucking times.
Well, that era for rap music in general was a really strange. It was when rap was becoming like a different thing, right? And it was also that weird period of digital music. Digital music didn't know how to do it yet, and it was just this strange leaving the previous era. Because even like the Nelly era, which came at the very end of the golden age of hip hop, it still understood what it wanted to be, like with Ja Rule, and then the Lil Jon era kicked in. But then right as Lil Jon ended, rap kind of started changing. That's then the Paul Wall era kicks in, and it just doesn't know what it wants to be. The business model is dissolved because MP3s exist, digital music exists. There was no real streaming services, so nobody knew what the game was, and it was like the mixtape era. So when we think back on not liking that era for Bone, I know you liked a lot of rap at that time, but I kind of like just left music in general for that period, and then Strength and Loyalty brought me back. And
it was a weird transition time, for Bone, for music. But hey, thank goodness, thank the Bone gods that they went through it. If those guys wouldn't have stuck it out and done those records, who knows what we'd have and if we'd be here now. So, that's that. I didn't think we'd end up talking for this long on this episode about this shit, but it just goes to show you I could talk Bone Thugs forever.
It's two guys that love talking Bone Thugs.
That's us. I think that's it. Is that it? You got anything else you want to cover?
I mean, we'll close it with, did you see the Yakety Yak video with Crazy Bone?
No.
I love it. It's been like removed off the internet, but you got to see this. Like as we leave tonight, look up the Crazy Bone. It's him with some old timers. I don't know if it's the original guys that performed Yakety Yak. And again, this goes back to the theme of tonight, where I keep going back to Luke and the Two Live Crew. But Luke and the Two Live Crew performed Yakety Yak for the Twins movie, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
And so Two Live Crew remade Yakety Yak, Don't Come Back. And then Crazy, there's this music video. It's filmed like very artistically in like a real, like a place where musicians actually perform, not rappers, but like, a musician band, not a rock band, but like, guys that play jazz. It seemed like a jazz room. And it's Crazy Bone with these old timers playing music. And you can see that Crazy's grooving. He's feeling it. And he even has like a little performance with him on it. For me, like as a fan of music, not necessarily rap, and a fan of watching people that are in rap that have a musical tendency appreciate getting to be able to jam out with some real musicians. It's just really cool to watch. It looks like Crazy's with like people he admires, and he's just having a good time getting to perform with them. So like I enjoyed it. I don't know why I got yanked off the internet, but if you get a chance to find it, check it out. It's, for that perspective, it's not rap. It's Crazy rapping, but it's just a cool vibe to see Crazy in that element with some old time musicians.
I will check it out. Guys, if you want to be part, we're thinking about doing a live show so you guys can call in and chat. So when we talk about things like Yakety Yak, you can leave a comment or even call in and let us know, yeah, you know, I've seen that. This is what I think of it. So we're thinking about doing a live show so we can discuss topics just like this one, because a topic like Yakety Yak would probably slide under the radar. We're thinking about doing a live show so we can really talk about things like this. If that's something that you guys would be interested in doing, whether it would be calling in or being part of a live chat, make sure you let us know in the comments below. And if we get a big enough reaction, we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up and do the live shows with you guys. I think it'd be, I think that'd be a really great show. And if it goes well, then maybe we can get you guys involved and do live interviews as well, so you guys can be interactive. That is what we're looking to do hopefully next week. So again, let us know in the comments if you're interested. I do want to shout out, of course, all our affiliates that help make it happen. Feenics Ryzin, who does our theme, Thugs in Harmony and thugsandharmony.com, my man Shane over at bookthugs.com, Bone Thugs NL, loyalbonefans.com, Stony Maloney, nobody's told me the name yet, which one is which, btnhboard.com, all our people at the Beyond the Harmony weekly podcast group, so many affiliates, so much love. I think that's it, man. We out.
Hey, let Feenics Ryzin take us out of here.
Beyond the harmony for the fans, we celebrate. I'm putting the videos every Thursday, so join us.